and welcome to Rate That Album, the back and forth album review podcast with myself, Paul Muad'Dib, and my wonderful friend, Joe Fremming. Joe, how are you doing this evening, buddy?
I could have been a lot better had I not listened to this album.
So, as we talked about last time, we are doing Snow Patrol's Wildness album. That came out 7 years after their big hit album Open Eyes. Yeah, Joe, have you ever heard of Snow Patrol?
I heard of them over the years, working at record stores and shit. I just never listened to them. Then, I'm listening to this and I'm just like, oh my God, this album in particular is like the most watered down version of Frightened Rabbit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
Frightened Rabbit's also like in this vein, except, the lyrics are good. The music's interesting. It's kind of like the opposite of this. Like they just took like the vibe of Frightened Rabbit and then just like, hey, let's just make this generic as possible.
It's I've always described Snow Patrol as the only band that can make Coldplay sound hardcore. And once you listen to it, you realize what a great analogy that really is.
Yeah, Coldplay makes U2 sound like Black Flag,
Right. So let's talk a little bit about Snow Patrol. They're a Northern Irish Scottish rock band. They were formed back in 1994. They had some albums, just like any band, their early years, they didn't really get anywhere. They originally went by the name, they did stuff under the Yogurt versus Yogurt debate. Then they changed their name to Polar Bear under the name of Shrug, which there was another band named Shrug. So they changed their name to Polar Bear. Well, there's another band called Polar Bear by Jane's Addiction bassist Eric Avery. So then they changed their name to Snow Patrol. And
so what you're saying is they've never been original at any point in their
at any really point. Snow Patrol, there's a lot of overlap with some other bands over the years. And we'll get into that. But they started with independent label Jeepster, which had Belle and Sebastian, which we'll get into a little bit later, and like how they're linked to Belle and Sebastian, and like how there was an actual like kind of like super group at one point, which I never heard of and I haven't heard. They didn't really kind of go anywhere from like 1997 to 2001. Then they put out the album Final Straw, and that started to pick up with a few hits. It was a little bit more radio friendly. They switched labels. They did a little things there. Their big one though was with the Eyes Open album, which had like the song Run and Chasing Cars and All You Have. It actually was reported that in 2019, Chasing Cars was the most played song of the century on UK radio.
Well, the British, I guess that just says the UK has as much taste in music as they do in food.
Hey,
because this is the bangers of and mash of music.
Hey, there is there is actually this UK group they do called Sorted Food. I do watch their stuff, and it's really fascinating. But anyways, that's neither here nor there, sir. So.
It's all boiled food, Paul.
No, it's
boiled
not.
Carrot for our crooked teeth.
There. So then they put out a record called Fallen Empires, and it wasn't as well received as Open Eyes. And then there was this like 7-year hiatus, and a lot of people like, what happened with Snow Patrol? What went on?
Who was asking this?
There was again.
Who is asking this?
A lot of white people, Joe. A lot of white people.
No, I don't believe you. I think maybe 3 people asked, "Hey, remember that band What are they up to?
Again, I have to say that Snow Patrol really, there was a following for them here, even in the Midwest. Again, Cities 97 was a huge promoter of them, and like we're constantly playing them on the radio. They were big in the college rock scene, college music scene for a while. I mean, there was just this thing there. But again, you got to remember, this also came around like with Interpol and Mumford and Sons, and there was just kind of style of music at the time. So there was like this 7 years hiatus, and again, people are like, "What happened?" Again, you go online, people are like, "What the hell happened?" So the main thing, and you will not find this on the wiki, which is really interesting, but the main thing that occurred was the lead singer, and we've talked about this a lot of times, bands, you have that prolific, writer or whatever, and, like the head, the front runner, but they're damaged. They have issues, they all have these things. And his thing was, he was a massive alcoholic, and his alcoholism went out of control, to the point where he was told, "Hey, if you don't quit drinking, you are going to die."
That's happened with other people we've talked about on albums in the past. It's very common with people.
Very common. And yeah, so actually in 2016, when he was really in the thrones of his alcoholism, that he was actually diagnosed with infections of his sinuses, ears, and eyes as a result of sustained alcohol abuse. So yeah, and that was at the age of 39. At 39, the doctor said to him, "If you don't quit drinking, you'll be dead in a year." So yeah, that's what happened there.
If this could happen to the Scottish and Irish, it really makes you think.
That you never hear about it over there, right? You never hear about alcoholism over there, but it's a very real thing.
They're drunk all the time, Paul. They're hammered all the time over there. Like there's no alcoholism there because they're all alcoholics.
This is somewhat of a true story.
This is a Joe Fremming hot take.
Joe Fremming hot take, guys. We are getting
Irish are drunks.
We are getting that. So, and then in this time too, like, another member of the band, Connolly, he was co-writing stuff with Ed Sheeran. He was working with, he was a touring guitarist for a couple of other bands. There was other members of the bands were kind of doing other things. Matter of fact, one of them was a touring guitarist for the Foo Fighters at one point. The lead singer, his name's Gary Lightbody, went into a side project with members of Belle and Sebastian, REM, Reindeer Section, and Fresh Young Fellows. Kind of like a little mini super group, and it was called Tired Pony. And I've never heard of this, but apparently it had like all these members from these other bands. Never heard of this. And he also was co-writing stuff with Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, and One Direction.
Paul, the last 2 minutes of you talking was so white. I think we are officially a white nationalist group according to the Southern Poverty Law Center.
God damn it, Joe. So
that was the whitest thing I think you've ever said.
Ever said.
It was like REM and Belle and Sebastian. Dear God, Paul. It was like the whole wiki here is about people who have no sense of rhythm.
Actually, this stuff isn't even on the wiki. Like, the wiki is so clean about this band and avoids any of the controversies and things like this. This is how protected they are. Like, you have to understand their fan base is there is this really, really, really rabid fan base for this band. There really is. And the wiki is super clean. And I remember hearing something about the lead singer going through some shit and having some problems. And that's why the band broke up and why they didn't do it. They didn't break up. That's why they didn't do anything for years. And I had to go outside and actually find NPR articles and BBC News articles and go outside the what I would consider my normal music channels to figure out what was going on with this band. Because again, I remember there was this the scuttlebutt, and it's like you go to the band's wiki and none of this is there. It's like philanthropy. Oh, this band is great. They support MenCap, and oh, you need to look at what they've done with like other ventures and contributions to the world. Like, weird, dude. It's weird. It's really weird. So
it feels like their fan base is like Scientology.
In a way, I mean,
they're just going clear on the wiki page.
I mean, it's something like that. Like they talk about like his influences. He likes super furry animals, Quincy Jones, Kool and the Gang, and it's like, this is the shit that's not normally on a wiki.
Yeah,
like,
normally it goes into the controversies and breakups and shit like that. Like, normally the wikis cover all that, so that's weird.
It's super weird. It's very super weird. Yeah. So
send hate mail to Paul on this one.
God damn it!
I'm not going to the mattresses with Snow Patrol fans.
We're going to the mattresses. So let's talk about the album itself, Wildness. There's
the biggest lie this album ever says.
I was gonna say there's not a lot of wildness in this album. Although if you listen to it,
there is zero wildness on this album. So it actually owes us wildness. Like, it's in the deficits of wildness.
Yeah, it's they talk. I mean, you listen to some of the lyrics. I mean, I listened to this album quite a bit for this. I knew of one song off this album, and it was when it dropped in like 2018, and a buddy of mine that I worked with was like, "Hey, Snow Patrol, they put on a new," and I was like, "Snow Patrol, what the fuck happened to them for the last 7 years?" And they put on, and I sent you the video. I don't think you watched it.
No, I told you, I'm only listening to the albums. I'm not getting into supplemental material.
So the album is so funny because, and I knew something was up too, because it's the song "Don't Give In," which has like the weirdest like raspy. So like that's like that was like their single, and I was like, oh shit, like something happened to this guy's voice, because it was a lot cleaner previously. And what's weird is, and I think we'll get to that, not a lot of the vocals sound like that song either. Like, no. It was a weird artistic choice to have the vocals that way.
The vocals are almost all just Scottish brogue talking. It's not singing. It's barely singing. It's just, it's like a lame Scottish version of the Hold Steady. There's not a lot of singing. It's just like kind of like reciting the lyrics in a barely way.
Yes. And so again, I was like, so that was like the only thing I heard, and I was like, nope, I'm good. Like, Snow Patrol still. And again, the video, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I made a joke music video. We made a fake, very, very best of album of an old character I used to play. And one of the jokes that we had on that was me playing guitar on a song that didn't have guitar. And, they actually do this like on a real fucking video. Like the guitarist is like jamming. I'm going, there's no guitar here. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, we can get to some of it track by track, but Joe, first of all, Life on Earth, the opening track. What did you think of that one?
It was there. Like, this whole thing. So honestly, and if you're a fan of this band, just remember, this is just my opinion. I'm not here to ding you guys. But for me, this whole album was just one giant monotonous blob of oatmeal sounding music. They just bleed into one another. It just does not, nothing stands out for me in this. It kind of goes back to the Molly Ringwald album for me.
Right. Yep.
That it's there. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. This isn't the worst album we've ever listened to. Nope. It's not bad. It's just not inspired to me. It didn't do much for me. Like, it wasn't offensive like Lindsey Buckingham. Trust me. Like, if this is like on in the background and I'm at a place, like, I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like, I acknowledge it's there, and I'm not annoyed, or it just didn't really push any emotion in me, which is like music should probably get an emotion out of people. Like Coldplay kind of does the same thing for me. Like they had like one album where I was like, yeah, this is really good, but I forget what that was, like Vita, Lost, whatever. But this was just like, I don't know, man. Like it felt like I was just like staring at paint drying, just like, yeah,
I didn't mind this song. I will say that, like Life on Earth, I will say that the first like 3 tracks, I was like, okay, this isn't bad. Like I actually could sit there and go, I enjoy it. Right. Like there's a part of me that's like, I enjoy it. The first 3 tracks, partly. I have a problem with Don't Give In a little bit. It's not, but Life on Earth, I found myself, I was like, I enjoy this song more than I should. And I text you about this, and again, we rarely talk about things outside of it, but I was like, and I know you didn't do it, but there was something about that song, and every time I listened to it, I was thinking, God, this sounds, for whatever reason, it's not a sea shanty, but why am I thinking of a sea shanty?
Yeah, it gets a very sea shanty-ish vibe.
Yeah, and I realized that.
And please, big sea shanty lobby, go to Paul. I'm not going to the mattresses with the sea shanty lobby.
No, but it is. I mean, it's a sea shanty, but the thing with it is that there is an eerie similarity to the notes and how they're being played to the Gordon Lightfoot song "Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald."
I love Edmund Fitzgerald's voice.
No, that's Ella Fitzgerald you're thinking of. Edmund Fitzgerald was the ship that went down.
I think you're wrong.
We used to have and the only reason why I know that song is we had a choir teacher.
Made us sing it all the time.
Yeah.
I think we sang it from like 4th grade to 6th grade.
Yeah, it was Miss Strode. She made us sing it all the damn time. So I was like, God, why is this song reminding me of this? So then I
tell you just an aside, because we sang that song so often in elementary school, that I got, even at a young age, I got a perverse joy of like the chef in that song just fucking dying. I was so mad we had to keep singing that stupid song.
Fellas, it's been good to know ya. Yeah. No, I mean, again, years later, I know every fucking lyric to that song, and I shouldn't. No one our age should know the lyrics.
What's the weirdest thing? Just because it has like, and we're from St. Cloud, so we're hours away from Duluth and Lake Superior. I have no idea why she was just obsessed with that fucking song.
I don't know. We had her, and then we had that one teacher in 4th grade that was obsessed with Hans Christian Andersen because she was in love with Denmark. We had some weird.
Oh yeah. She was also like huge into the Beatles too.
Yes. If you remember, the same teacher. But this was the one that was in the Edmund Fitzgerald or Gordon Lightfoot.
It was like every fucking that was like 2 or 3 years straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we had to like sing that
at every choir concert.
You have to think how psychotic was this poor woman that she wanted to hear each hour of the day children singing Edmund Fitzgerald.
Right.
And Edmund Fitzgerald song Gordon Lightfoot.
Yep, and she'd also play the harpsichord to it. If you remember, she played the harpsichord to it. Which again, who plays the harpsichord? Very unusual woman, but yeah. So I was like, I listened to that again. I was like, holy shit! Like, yeah, there's a lot of similar notes going on here.
Yeah.
And then again, I thought it. I'm like, there has to be more than like a subcon. Like, first of all, how does a Northern Irish band know about that fucking song?
Gordon Lightfoot was pretty big, man.
I suppose.
I'm not gonna deny like the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. That was a pretty big hit for that guy, and it kind of goes in that because these guys are from like Northern Ireland, Scotland, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like there's a lot of sea shanty shit, I'd imagine.
Well, and that was the thing. Like again, when there's
a lot of songs on here that made me feel like this is like a sea shanty-ish, but it's like not fun like a sea shanty.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely is like yes, no,
Don't get me wrong, I love my sea shanties. So like if you're making sea shanties not fun, then you and I have a problem.
Well, I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, the Mollusk by Ween has some
Oh,
great
yeah.
sea shanty songs on it. They're fucking great.
The album We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Whatever by Modest Mouse.
Yes,
It's a sea shanty-ish stuff on it. I love it.
It's a great album. I love that. And a lot of people didn't like it. I love that album.
Oh, I did too. Fire It Up and all that. Miss the Boat. Miss the Boat's probably one of my favorite. Songs.
Miss the Boat.
This album was so boring. I want to talk about other.
So I mean, and again, then they talk about being on shore. So I was like, okay, there had to be something there. So yeah, then we get into Don't Give In, which is fine. It's again serviceable.
Well, here's the thing, like, because it starts, it's like the raspy voice, and it sounds like it's either about to go into Right Now by Van Halen,
yes,
or Be With You by Mr. Big. Like I was just like, because it starts with the raspy, it's like I'm just expecting like Sammy Hagar. Right now, it's your tomorrow.
Every time I hear that song, all I could think of was fucking Pepsi. So it worked. It worked. Yeah, no, I mean it's again, it's fine. I mean, I remember when it was like having listened to it a bunch of times for the album. Now I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't actually hate it, but I remember when I saw the video and like heard this, I was like, this is a fucking joke. like this is not good. And then you got Heal Me, and okay, so all these songs, again, they're super light. There's a lot of like acoustic guitar. There's a little bit of electronica in there, a little bit of synth, but like they're all talking about like the wildness and the ancient, feelings and like being primal. And there's nothing primal about any of these fucking songs.
I mean, it's so like, when I don't like an album at first, then I start listening to the lyrics. Because like maybe that's where the cleverness is. That's why, the first time I listened to Frightened Rabbit, I'm like, I don't know if I really like this. And then I started listening to the singer's lyrics, and I was like, holy shit, this is really awesome. So I draw that comparison with this band because they kind of sound similar. In fact, when the lead singer of Frightened Rabbit committed suicide, the Gary Lightbody wrote like a tribute to him because there might have been some mutual respect or something like that. But so when I listened to that, so like I shared with you that song "Blood Under the Bridge," which is great. Feels like in the same vibe of this sonically, right?
Yep.
But the lyrics are they grab you.
Yes.
And so when I listen to this, like maybe it's like what happened with me to Frightened Rabbit. Like I didn't pay him any attention when I worked at the Electric Fetus because it was like background music. I'm like, oh, it's Scottish people singing. I don't know. But when I sat down and listened to it, I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. So I was listening to the lyrics on this whole album, and I was like, yeah, the lyrics are almost as generic as the music.
Well, and one of the things is you could tell like this was written kind of at the same time because they're using a lot of the similar words, they're talking about similar things on each album, and each song. And unless you're doing that with a concept album, it's not interesting. And you get some interesting, what I would consider poetic like music. I mean, first of all, I'm going to say, production wise, I think the album is produced fine. It sounds good.
Yeah, it's produced fine.
It's produced fine.
It has some moments musically where I'm like, yeah, that's not bad, but it,
Yep.
It just kind of, we can pick apart elements, but if the whole, like, I can look at a painting and be like, well, that's a cool brush stroke. But if I look at the overall product and it's just a giant asshole, right? That brush stroke, it looks cool, but it's still at the end of the day, it's a giant fucking asshole.
It's a giant fucking asshole, right? I mean, and you get things that you would think would be, but then you're like, oh man, that sounds whatever. But then when you think of it, you're like, wait a minute, that's not profound. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like,
yeah, I feel like if this Gary Lightbody focused more on the lyrics.
Yep.
Like I don't know much about their other stuff, so I can't really say like they had better lyrics back in the day or whatever.
It's very similar. It's very similar.
It's very just oatmeal. It's pretty generic. It's
and again, you get things like, you hear lyrics like, I call it your name, it feels like a song I know so well, it whispers and roars like an orchestra. But musically, it's not reflecting the lyrics. So it comes across like, what is your idea of wildness and roaring, dude? Because this is really subdued. And again, like I said, there's a lot of primal things here, like talking about anger and, rage.
You don't feel it.
I don't feel any of that. And then, like Empress, song 4 is when I started to realize, oh, Christ, because it did nothing for me. And I'm like, did they front load these first 3 songs like with their singles?
Absolutely. They front loaded the first
Absolutely. They front loaded the first 3 songs. Then you get Dark Switch, which starts as this weird acoustic funk song and then goes somewhere that I don't know why it goes where it goes. And I'm like, I don't know if I like this. Like,
I know. I don't like it.
And I want to talk about just some of the lyrics here. Like, don't give me more than I can handle. Don't give me more than I can take. Don't give me more than I can handle. Oh hell, give me all you've got in every way. Like,
it's a real Bob Dylan lyric there, huh?
Yeah,
real profound and insightful.
Yes. Yeah, it's just, again, it works at the time, but then you're like, it sounds like kind of pretty, but then you go, what the fuck are you saying? Like, and this is the other thing I want to bring up here too, is that in that video, Don't Give In, when he talks about, there's a line where he says, "Oh, fuck up your mind." Now, they were known for being very clean, with their first album.
There's a lot of explicit lyrics on this album.
And it's just because that makes them edgy. Like, okay, we're going to swear in this album because that's going to make us edgy. And when you watch the video and he does the line, "It'll fuck up your mind," like he gets a smirk on his face, like, yeah, I swore. And I'm going, Jesus Christ, dude, that doesn't make you hardcore.
No. And it's like when you're dropping in there with no, dropping in F-bombs in songs a lot of times, but the most effective is when it's given a very primal feeling.
Yep.
There's nothing here with that. This is not fucking Hostile by Pantera or Closer by 9 Inch Nails or,
and you
Fuck the Police by NWA. This is him just saying the F-bomb, like us in 4th grade in that music
exactly
class.
How it feels. Yeah, it's us just dropping an F-bomb in the 4th grade and feeling like we're edgy.
This Edmund Fitzgerald is more like Edmund Fucksgerald.
Edmund Fucksgerald. I will say though, there's a band called Catherine's Wheel, and they have a song called "Eat My Dust" doing "Sensitive Fuck," and I've never heard the word "fuck" sung so pretty in my life. It's just great. So then they got the "A Youth Written in Fire," which supposedly was the first, according to that article in BBC, was the first song they wrote for this album. And again, I mean, you got things like, remember the first time we got high, it felt like a rampart's lion's roar. But the way he's singing, the music's going with it, it doesn't match it. And I'm going, so show me that. It's almost like a movie. Show, don't tell.
Yeah, exactly. Make us feel that in some way, and you're not, because you shouldn't be as bored as your listeners with your music. I mean, that should just not be the thing, but it feels like they're perfectly okay with it.
I skipped, and I got to get back to this, because this is a song I really wanted to talk about as well, was "What If This Is All the Love You Ever Get?"
Oh God, this was such a bad song.
So first of all,
stuck out to me as egregiously bad.
Yes. First of all, it sounds like a demo, right?
Yeah, it sounded bad.
It sounded like a demo, like this was an incomplete song.
Yeah, for some reason, quality goes down, because I noticed because I listened to this on headphones at the gym, and I mean, I feared I was going to fall asleep on the cardio machine listening to this album. But this came on and sonically it was just like a dip in quality, which is very weird.
Very weird.
what? And then like the song itself is just so bad.
Well, and it's just
cringy. It's cringy.
It's cringy.
I'm embarrassed for them making it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a really cringy song, and lyrically especially. And again, it's got just that that 4-chord, and I know, again, there's all those 4 chords, but I could not pinpoint the song. I could, but it's a rip off of those chords are a rip off of another song. Again, it's a 4-chord song, so there's gonna be 200 songs that sound like it. But for some reason, I was thinking like Bruce Hornsby or what's that guy's name? That not Luther Vandross. Son of a bitch.
Barry White?
Not Barry White. No, white dude that used to do soul music on a piano. Fuck. I'll
Harry
find
Conkin Jr.
Harry Connick Jr. No. He looked almost like he looked kind of like oh fuck. Now I can't remember his name. Kenny Rogers. He looked like Kenny Rogers.
Oh, Michael McDonald.
Thank you, Michael McDonald.
This is all the love I'm never gonna get.
yes, that was it. It was
this is all the love I'm gonna give.
It reminded me,
like he sings like he's got a dick in his mouth.
Right. Again, we don't like the album. We're talking about other musicians. Funny side note to that story. I used to work at Sears in the electronics department, and we sold Dish Network. And one of the channels we would have on was like this HD music channel, and they always had like this fucking Michael McDonald fucking concert. Oh my god, I just wanted to die.
Did you ever see 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I did see 40-Year-Old Virgin.
There's that scene where Paul Rudd's getting sick of That's Very Special because they work at like Circuit City, and like Jane Lynch's character always has it going on.
Yes.
Michael
Yes, it's the same one.
Like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself in this house.
I swear to God, like they must have known someone that worked at like Sears of Best Buy and Circuit City, because that's a real thing that fucking happened. Like legitly real. I lived through that. They had that one. They had a Fleetwood Mac one they always played. They had a Peter Gabriel one that they did, which I didn't mind because I love Peter Gabriel. And then there was what's her name that did that song? Oh, fuck it. Anyways.
She sang that song, it was on the radio.
It was on the radio. Something about a horse. Anyways. Not Katy Perry, but the other one. She was like a one-hit wonder. Anyways, the point is, they had her special on. So this the piano reminds me of that. But then the lyrics are creepy. Like, really, like, what if this is all the love you ever get? You do a couple of things so differently, I bet. And I'm going, that's dark. Like, that's really fucking dark when you think about it. Like, this is him saying something. I picture him saying this to like his partner. Like, what the fuck? And then, what if this is all the love I ever know? I'd say the words that were so hard to say don't go. And then, so you've fallen in love, so you've fallen apart. What if it hurts like hell? Then it will hurt like hell. Come on over here. And I'm going, this is like gaslighting.
Yeah,
in lyric form.
Yeah, but it's better if you picture Michael McDonald singing that.
No, it's not. It's not better.
What is it all the love you ever get?
So and
taking it to the street.
I'm in the ruins too. I know the wreckage so well. Come on over here. And then what if this is all the love you ever get? So now I'm picturing, he's talking to a girl that's in a breakup that he's trying to get a rebound on. Like, it gets creepier. Like, it gets worse as it goes on. And at the end of it, I'm just like, this is a date rape song. There's no other way around it. This is Gaslight Date Rape, the musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything about it, the song was bad. This is like, I said nothing really stuck out, but this one kind of stuck out with how fucking creepy it was.
And it's not good when the one song that really sticks out is the bad, creepy one. That's not a good sign of the album.
Yeah.
So then we
I mean,
talked
Sting
about
went through this with Every Breath You Take.
this is their Every Breath You Take. This is their Every Breath You Take.
The creepiest song ever written, and people just like, oh, that's such a great love song. It's like, is it?
Is it? Yeah, is it? People had a weird sense of love back in the day, didn't they?
The 80s were wild. Now I want Michael McDonald to sing Every Breath You Take. Every breath you take.
Taking it to the streets.
I'll be watching you.
Taking it to the streets.
Oh, I wish we would have just reviewed a Michael McDonald album.
Well, we kind of are. Then there's the song Soon. I don't remember.
I don't remember it either.
I don't remember it.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, I do. It's the one about his dad. Yes. Yeah, it's not whatever. And then you got Wild Horses. Okay, if you're going to make a song called Wild Horses,
it's got to be as good as the Stones, if not better.
Right. And no.
The Stones' Wild Horses is one of my favorite Stones songs.
So good. So good.
Like, you can't nick a song title from the Stones. Like, it's unless it's going to be reinvent the concept of wild horses. That's another egregious thing. Like, I didn't even know the song title, and I looked at it as Wild Horses, and I just got mad.
Well, and this is, again, you got what's holding you back. I know you've got wild horses enough inside you. Again, he's still talking about that primal whatever thing, and you're not getting it. And then the last song, again, I forgot.
Let's go back. It's like, it doesn't. But at least, like with the Stones, like you feel Jagger's like wild horses wouldn't keep me away. Like you feel like that. You feel like with that emotion, and here you're just like, oh, it's another goddamn bullshit song from these guys. Right.
And then I'm going to talk about this a little bit. So then you got, Life and Death, which again is a song I kind of forgot. And I really did forget it. But then, there's a part where he's like talking about, I woke the lion, you woke the tiger inside. Nothing again is matching that. And talking about falling on your sword. Now, again, you go back to Give In, falling on your sword, talking about loneliness, wildness. Like, again,
waking the tiger too. So here's the thing. This guy just watched Game of Thrones. you're talking about falling on the sword, and you can just tell because when this came out, that waking the dragon was like the thing from that show and book.
Mm-hmm.
And he just replaced it with tiger, and that's just so
and lion
lazy.
Yeah, no, and you go back through all these songs, and again, yes, you could sit here and if you're a fan of it, I'm not harping it. This is just our critique, and again, there's tracks on this I do like. They're
not me, Bubba.
I know, no, I know, not you, but again, like they front loaded, like the first three songs.
Front loaded, yeah. Like at least it gives you a false sense of like maybe something's going to build, and then it just drops.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you nailed it. It gives you a sense that okay, we could go somewhere, and then they drop the ball. Like I think this would have been a better EP, and I think it would have been a better received EP. Personally, that's my thought on it. But again, you got the lyrics. Unless you're doing a concept album, I don't necessarily, I mean, and this is odd because I harped on Miley Cyrus for the exact opposite, which was I'm like everything was like all over the place. But that was more musically, right? Like everything was all over the place.
Which is the thing I actually liked too about her album, because at least it was something. Trying to do something, and I think that's what I said in the review. Is like
it was,
it was ambitious. It didn't stick the landing per se, but it was like taking chances. And this album is not taking chances.
This album's not taking chances to the point where again you can go back to any song and you can look at the lyrics and go, okay, there's the lyrics that were in the last song are in this one, and again, that's not a good thing on an album. That's lazy writing unless you're doing a concept album, which this is not. This is not a concept album.
Even if this was a concept album, it'd be a pretty bad one because it doesn't sound the problem with this album is it's not engaging musically, really.
It's too similar. And again, I know I'm going after, like I said, I must seem like someone that's just impossible to please as a music fan. That's not it. It's that first of all, the lyrics aren't matching the thing, which again, I know that people can make arguments of, well, Beatles wrote really happy songs with super sad lyrics or super, depressing lyrics. Yeah, you can do things like that. But again, you look at any Beatles album, like a lot of their music is, again, it
goes through changes.
It goes through changes, which again, I'm not fine. I'm fine with. It's just, again, for me with the Miley one,
like it was just the same thing over and over and over
and over and over and over. Like, yes, it was almost like they wrote one song and then just made variations of that one song.
Yeah. I mean, it just did. It doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't engage. Didn't engage me. Like, again, if you're a fan of this, I'm not shitting on you. It's everybody has a different opinion, and liking music is very, very subjective.
Yes. Yep.
But if you're listening to this podcast and you listen to me go off on Lindsey Buckingham, this should be no surprise how I'm going to feel about Snow Patrol.
Absolutely. No, it was no surprise to me on how you feel about this one. But, even with Lindsey Buckingham, you didn't get songs that sounded like a demo, at least. I mean, knew what you're...
I'd black that whole experience out. Like, there's no way I could continue life healthy remembering that experience. So it's blacked out. Like, I don't have any recollection of that album anymore.
Whatever gets you through the night, buddy.
Yep. It's about mental health.
Yep.
I got to keep myself mentally healthy, Paul. And you just really bashed me in the brain with that one.
I feel terrible.
You were Negan, man.
I feel bad about that one. If I really had known that was going to be that bad for you, I wouldn't have recommended it. I really had no idea.
We're already talking about another podcast we did. This album is so uninspired.
It is. It's really uninspired. I mean, again, to the point where you got a demo song at the midpoint of the album.
Yeah. It's not only that, you make it sound different from the rest, kind of. Make it sound like a demo, and it's your creepiest song.
It really is. Like, it's bad. Like, I really, like, honestly, that song gave me a bad impression of the band. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, lyrically and everything on it, I'm like, I don't think these are good dudes. Like, everyone in the band was on board with this song, and I mean, with these lyric choices, and that gives me a big red flag about them as people. That's personally me. I could be completely off, but my God, I was just like, ooh, this is a red flag song. Like, anyone that wrote this or played this for me, like I'd be like, hey, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it'd be like somebody playing Jailbait by Ted Nugent.
Nailed it.
Ooh, no.
Nailed it. Goddamn Ted. And that's the guy that even paid $10,000 to have a girl, to $10,000 to a family, to a girl's parents, so he could have guardianship for a weekend, so he could fuck her. Yep, good old Ted Nugent. So all right, we've talked about a lot of other bands.
Yeah, we're going off on tangents because honestly, at the end of the day, at least for me, this album did so little for me that I'm grasping at trying to come up with things to talk about.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah,
because it sounds a lot the same throughout, so it's not like I can pick songs that take a left turn or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the one song that did, we don't want to talk about it because
the one song that does take a slight left turn, but the lyrical content is so disturbing that we'd rather talk about Ted Nugent,
which is a horrible thing to say. Yeah, so Joe, would you recommend?
Hey, I wonder what Gary Glitter's doing.
Oh God! Oh man, that's gonna be a podcast one day, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that guy is a real piece of shit.
Oh God, yeah.
Is he still in prison?
I think he's still in prison. Pretty sure Gary Glitter did not get out yet, because he was only convicted in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's still in. Yep, he's still in prison. Yep.
Oh, that guy's a creeper. But yeah, see, we'd rather be talking about Gary Glitter than this album.
That's fucking awful. Awful.
Thanks a lot, Snow Patrol.
Jesus Christ.
You got us on a Gary Glitter tangent.
Oh my god. Oh my god. And again, there's people out there that have no idea who Gary Glitter is yet. And like they're gonna be like, what? We'll do a podcast.
Google it and they're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Just go to the wiki and you've learned all you needed to learn. And yes, we will probably do a podcast about some Gary Glitter music. Joe, would you recommend Wildness by Snow Patrol?
It's not for me. If you like Coldplay and like basically easy listening, technically alternative music, this is probably for you, but I wouldn't recommend it. No, it just didn't do anything for me. It just, like I said, it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It's just one of those albums that just exists.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I didn't find it, except for the creepy song, it was pretty non-offensive.
So I'm going to say no as well. And I'm going to give it the exact same reason that I gave for Miley Cyrus's album, which is Don't Give In, Life on Earth, motherfucking The Creeper song, and Empress, which again, so two songs that I did enjoy, two songs that one of was forgettable, and one is the goddamn fucking Creeper song, were all at least as singles. So again, if you've heard what is the best of the album, which is the first two tracks, and so no, I'm not going to recommend it because you've heard the best that there is of it. So why would you want to listen to the rest of it? So yeah, I'm going to give it the exact same thing that I gave Miley Cyrus's, which is you heard the singles. So no, there's nothing in the album itself that is going to make it any better or going to make you want to listen to it. I will tell you that critically speaking, again, this is how guarded the wiki is. Don't Give In. Wildness was received with generally positive reviews from critics, quoting, indicating generally favorable reviews. Pitchfork gave it a 4.8 out of 10, calling it their most personal album, and says
4.8 out of 10 that's not a C minus D plus on Pitchfork. Yeah, and then the Metacritic got a 64 out of 100, which is again you're in C plus territory.
Exactly.
That's not generally positive.
That's not right. Do you see how weird the wiki is with this band? Like it's really, really guarded. So no, it wasn't really favorably.
Under the radar gave it a 3.5
out of 10. Right. All Music was the only one that gave it a 4-star out of 10. But again, All Music isn't really a review site per se. It's an online database. So yeah, I mean, when you look at the reviews of it, it wasn't all that great. Like again, the story, the stories on, like on NPR and on the BBC News, they don't talk about how great the album is. They're just talking about Snow Patrol put out a new album after 7 years. Here it is. Yeah. So, there we go. Joe, let's do some plugs, because you and I there's not much else you can say about this fucking album. What is going on with the Joe Down?
We still got the Predator 2 review coming.
Okay.
We still haven't gotten to it yet. Just been busy, so.
Joe, I got some exciting news for you.
What's that?
You remember you watched Manborg?
Mm-hmm.
She-Borg is out now.
Oh, well, that'll have to be reviewed. Manborg was a classic.
Yeah, yep, She-Borg. I found that yesterday last night when I couldn't sleep on Amazon Prime.
Same filmmaker?
I don't know. I just saw She-Borg and I'm like, I have to tell Joe.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, yep, She-Borg. It's I think it's a different thing, but it still was. Half alien, half robot creature that crashes on Earth and turns humans into her evil robotic lackeys. Yep. So it's different people, but it's still Sheborg. So there is that. I still haven't gotten the stuff up. That's on me. My schedule's all messed up. So this weekend I am going to take the time and get everything up, get everything edited, get everything going. So it will happen this weekend. I've already blocked off the time slot for it. So I wanted to do it this week, but with my work, I found myself working a lot later than I was expecting to, several days. So that's why it didn't happen. Joe, what are we doing next week?
Paul, we got to get your crippling addiction to boring white people music. I just need to get this flushed out of your system so we're not sitting here with rambling on about Gary Glitter because we don't want to talk about this boring white band. So, Paul, we're going to be in a metal mood. We're not going to be Mr. Nice Guys anymore. We're listening to Pat Boone's In a Metal Mood. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Pat Boone's 1997 album of heavy metal covers done in big band form.
Oh my! Okay, first of all, Pat Boone album in 1997 doesn't sound right. First of all, and isn't Pat Boone like super religious? Like, what's he doing a heavy metal album? Big band.
I don't know, but he did one, and it's you got Enter Sandman by Metallica, Holy Diver by Dio, Paradise City by Guns N' Roses, A Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll by AC/DC. We got Judas Priest covers. We got Van Halen covers. Paul, you fucked around this week. You're gonna find out.
I gotta look at something here. Hang on. Boone, In a Metal Mood. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Let's see.
Look at that leather vest.
That's okay. So does he not realize like what was going on at the time? Like,
they have those gold chains on that chest.
What's up with the eye? What's up with like? Do you see that? Like, is that like? Is that a superimposed? Oh my!
No, that's just how his eye normally looks. Shouldn't be like making fun of people for that.
Oh my God, dude! Hang on, I found a picture, and you have to see this. Hang on, how do I fucking? Oh my God, I'm saving this. I'm sending it to you right now, dude. He apparently did an interview for this album. Oh no! This should be my downloads. Oh, I saved it. 1 second.
You're going to be so excited for the closer of Stairway to Heaven. Crazy Train.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay, Joe. I just sent it to you. Take a look at your messenger.
Yeah. That's a tough guy right there.
So just so you guys can tell, it's him like in a sleeveless leather vest, the gold chains, looking like he's from Judas Priest. He really had no idea what was going on there. Really had no idea what that meant. Oh my God. Joe, this is gonna suck.
Yeah, but at least things will stand out and it's not one giant monotonous blob of music.
Oh God. All right, so we'll do Pat Boone.
Yeah, Paul, you brought this upon yourself. I didn't go to the wheel of shit for this time for my revenge. I went and found something worse than anything that's on that list.
You're like, the wheel of shit isn't painful enough.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, Joe, do you want to take us out?
No.
Joe.